Welcome back to Road to FIRE. We're a family of three documenting our journey to FIRE, financial independence, retire early. Let's chat about our UTMA portfolio update and how we invest for our 3-year-old. I'll provide details on what we invest in and why, benefits of our UTMA, and our strategy for this account for the future with all numbers like always, so please hang with me. Get this, most millionaires did not inherit their wealth. Another way to say this is that most millionaires make their money in their lifetime and usually do not pass that on to the next generation. Let that just sink in for a second. After reading The Millionaire Next Door last year, I was shocked not only by this stat, but by how many other millionaire myths that were debunked in that book. Now, I hope we are able to pass down wealth to our child, but not just money in a trust fund, but knowledge about personal finance and money management. Now, I put up a post on my community page about a few weeks back asking how people learned about money. Most learned from themselves or through resources outside of their family. Now, I expected this percentage to be around 70-30, but over 85% said they didn't learn about money from their parents. Now, my parents never sat down with me and had any money talks now that I think about it, but that will definitely change with my son. And as he gets older, I can't wait to pick stocks with him in simulations or real time as he starts building investments within his UTMA. Right now, we're just learning about saving, spending, and giving in his little mason jar piggy bank. Okay, so what is an UTMA? The Uniform Transfer to Minors Act, UTMA, allows a minor to receive gifts such as money, patents, royalties, real estate, and fine art without the aid of a guardian or trustee. An UTMA account allows the custodian to manage the minor's account until they become of age. Basically, you invest on behalf of your children. Keep in mind, though, that the UTMA offers a way to build a tax-free savings account for minor children, and the assets will be counted as part of the custodian's taxable estate until the minor takes possession. Also, once the child becomes 18 or 21, depending on your state, they have full access to this account, which can be a little scary for parents. UTMAs are usually confused for UGMAs, a little bit of a tongue tie here. The key difference between UTMAs and UGMAs is the maturity timeline and the assets allowed in the custodial account. UTMAs accounts allow parents to donate gifts such as money, stocks, life insurance, real estate, while UGMA accounts only allow the donation of basic assets. So what is even better than an UGMA or UTMA in my opinion is a Roth IRA for your child. Your child, regardless of age, can contribute to an IRA provided they have earned income, defined by the IRS as all the taxable income and wages you get from working, either for someone who pays you or in a business you own. And an IRA can help your child or grandchild save for retirement, a first home, or educational expenses early with tax benefits, which is very key. But the important thing to remember is that your child must have earned income during the year for which a contribution is made. So what is earned income? In a perfect world, your child will receive a W-2 or a Form 1099 for work performed. But there are other forms of earned income that a child can have, especially with entrepreneur endeavors like babysitting, lawn care, dog walking, pet sitting, and many other jobs. My son was a baby model for about 2 years and would still be now if we were back in Chicago and made a few $1,000s that we unfortunately did not put in a Roth, but we could have. So if you have a child working in any form or fashion, get them a Roth now. Again, not financial advice. So if you're new here, here's our current FIRE number that is definitely going to change by the end of this year, but right now we're working towards a $2.45 million net worth with about $1.9 million invested into the market. Of our net worth, we have about 6% allocated to our son's college fund. Our goal is to give him at least $150,000 to help him pay for college or any other expenses he has post-18. Now, we will not be using these funds for any expenses he has now, as we will cash flow everything he needs month by month. For example, you can use an UTMA for private school costs for elementary, middle school, or high school, or whatever you may choose, but we want to keep this account untouched for the long run. To be clear, $150,000 is the baseline, not the target. If we hit $150,000, let's say, in 10 years, I won't stop investing for my child, and honestly, when he's 50, I'm sure I'll still be investing for him or at least my grandchildren for the long run. I would love to give my son $500,000 or $250,000 or any number he needs to help him support his dreams. Say he's 21 and wants to start a software company or build a new app. I want to be able to say, here's $10,000 to just go for it. I also want to give him a head start in life. Like imagine if we were able to do or work in the field we want to despite the pay versus changing our careers just for a higher pay overall. Now, I didn't have that option, but I'm working to give my son that one. Plus, he may want to take a gap year or go to trade school or jump into real estate or work in the family business. I just don't know. But whatever he decides, I want to be there to help support him 100%, at least financially. So here is his total portfolio as of right now, or my 3-year-old's net worth. The last time I did an update was in January, so I'm very excited to finally dive into this account. We invest $300 a month into this account, and sometimes it's more depending on the season as he gets cash gifts from friends and family, but usually we do $300 a month. Right now, his UTMA or investments total is $20,619, which is up over $4,000 since January. And his current cash balance is $1,800, and that's where I usually put his gifts he gets from family or friends. His birthday is coming up soon, so I expect him to get cash gifts at least from my parents. So in total, his liquid assets, which is so funny to say for a kid, is $22,419. And our last recent buys are very boring: VTSAX, Disney, and Lob. Now I really need to get more aggressive, but let's jump into his returns over time. Now his UTMA was created about 6 months after he was born, and we had most of his money in VTSAX and VGT, a technology ETF. But both have had double-digit returns over the last year. I did add a few individual stocks as I got feedback in the last update that I need to be a bit more aggressive here on his account, which is fair. And we will continue to add more individual stocks here and get a bit more aggressive in this account as my son is 3, so he has a lot of time to have the market correct itself over time. I am thinking about finding a particular sector and just adding in stable stocks from there, probably the consumer goods sector because that's where I work and that's what I know. So I shared this last time, but the data is now updated. U.S. News outlines the average cost of tuition in the United States, but due to COVID-19, tuition has decreased year over year about 5%, which is almost unheard of. So how did we get to that $150,000 baseline? Private college averages around $35,000, out-of-state public is about $21,000, and in-state public is about $10,000. Now, this only looks at tuition and fees, but there are housing costs, books, studying abroad, and other activities that would definitely inflate these numbers. So, if my son did plan to go to college, he would effectively be covered with about $150,000 right now. But we all know that the cost of college is increasing at an alarming rate year over year, so I will definitely have to continue to follow these numbers over the years. But we have, 15 years before we need to make any college decisions, if any, so I'm happy with where we are right now. But one thing that is great about an UTMA is that you're able to use it on many other child expenses outside of a college education. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, it costs $233,610 to raise a child to the age of 17 for a middle-income family. Now, middle-income married couple parents of a child born in around 2015 may expect to spend about $233,000, and if you adjust it for inflation, that's closer to $284,000 for food, shelter, and other things to raise a child through the age of 17. Now, this does not include the cost of a college education. And I know this data is a few years old, so I'm sure it's more than that now, and the specifics on the $233,000 isn't clear, but according to this report, 18% is attributed to food, 29% is attributed to housing, 15% to transportation, and 16% is childcare or education. So although we personally don't plan on using his UTMA for any of these expenses before 18, you definitely can, which is a huge benefit for this type of custodial account. Now I know we need to adjust our FIRE number. I think we might keep our current FIRE number and then also track against a stretch FIRE number that allows us to push even farther. This new number would include a higher baseline for my son's investment, but I don't want to get obsessed about tracking so many different numbers, but I know if we don't continue to adjust and update our goals based on our progress, then we will get complacent. And with inflation moving the way it is and the cost of things continue to rise, I don't know if our current FIRE number will actually be enough in 8 to 9 years. It might not be. I'm working on a video outlining our proposed changes and updates, so look out for that soon. We have always wanted to pursue Fat FIRE to live a comfortable, quote-unquote, retired life, but I'm beginning to think that if I can get a remote job, that we might shift our plans to focus more on the now versus the later. But if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe below. Until next time.